abusu ye mo kwaba edeba Kofi Countryman CTV na eye U10 bi ba niema mu mamanfo afreme a chese ewose etimi draw eye audience na attention eye prophet kese ba ko abusu na nsen obekaya wababonten empo betre se eye Reverend Dr. Wusu Bempa ene Duncan Williams osofo kese omumienu na Ghana ensafo ekuro omo me chese omo ana Nyankopon ekasafo omo so se we eba besi omani mu a etimi ebam prekope we ye nsem a na efi osofo efe no Uerbert ho na eno ana na nsenye idai Reverend Wusu Bempa ekoka se John Mahama ana Nyankopon ayi ne se omedi Ghana nim na eno ekire ana manfo mu ekire se eye osofo Uerbert ayi eye Reverend Wusu Bempa ena yase atwede ekire se obi a waba bonten se sa asofo yimienu ene kura Ghana no wawa sa ba bonten se seidie osofo efe no osofo William Braham ono ana wo so wo sa kire se ono na se Nyankopon ekasafa no so a na je sa akwete se won kase wadada Reverend Wusu Bempa ede chese Ghana nyina hyeda be hye ne nsa aka ne keke ama Reverend Wusu Bempa so afili so big ababon tin abeka nsem we ye nsem amanfo eka no online chese nsem amanfo eka ne yenso abusia yenso ye ka bi e wa hanom eno ndiro ene yayi osofu ya babon tin se onyame enso timi de obi oye Muslim ebedi ade ba ne yiye papa eno ntema okọ online abusia chese mixed reactions a ekoso no enya asem keto akora sese no amanfo ka ne kabo eye Reverend Wusu Bempa esan se ensem na ono beka ye based on the osofu Uerbert ne beka ye no ntino ene osofu Uerbert yankasa asase sana adwene a o ka se eye Muslim enso timi bedi ade busia ye mompia osofu yi ne ntie nsem a eko ene nsem a manfo bi mu eka fa eye ensensem yankomra ye ba ade aka bia busia ye de beto aso ha eye Kofi Countryman CTV yankomra.
You know, I get impressed when I see opposition of political parties calling me and said, you say it, a man should call you in 10 days and he hasn't called you. Now, please, sir, talk to us. We are willing to do what your Jesus wants. Ha! We are willing. And then you look at them, they are Muslims, and they're saying, we are willing to do it. What does your Jesus want to do? Now you have to think. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm giving you as an example here. In this part is the example. That one is true. My point now is to think. What if we put a Christian, he doesn't perform? And a Muslim wants to hear what God wants so he can perform it if he's put in place by the Jesus. Now, is it possible that a Muslim can be in place because Jesus put him there? Yes, I can quote the scripture for you. The Bible tells us that when Israel was fighting an enemy, the enemy sacrificed his own son. And God turned sides and moved from Israel and went to the enemy side. Started supporting the enemy. Then he took his eldest son, 2 Kings 3:27. He took his eldest son that should have reigned in his stead, his only son, and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was great indignation against Israel. And they departed from him and returned to their own land. Imagine. Of course, if you keep on reading, realize the history of Israel, you realize that they managed to conquer them later on. But they had learned a lesson that God can change sides and support the enemy. Because in that moment, you will be his enemy. Me, that was settled already. He will not be president. He did not call. That was settled. 100% settled. I had no doubt in my mind. 10 days. Within a few hours, his people called me, but he did not call. I don't have a problem with anyone not calling me. I'm the one who hears from God. And my position doesn't need voting in. Now hear this. Hear this. And I understand perhaps there were areas. And let me just explain to you something. I don't blame anybody for not calling me. I don't blame that. Because his son actually went to our ministry in London. He's friends with Sia. So perhaps in that line he thought he had contacted me. The chief of staff called me. Perhaps in that contacting me, they thought they had contacted me. But I told them exactly that if your boss does not call, it's already signed, sealed, delivered to Baumia. I said it. In the same vein, in the weeks that came, I had a prophecy for a man called Kabila. And God told me he should contact you, or his people should contact you within 10 days. If he doesn't, he will die. I said it. Do you know how many minutes they took? They were already calling while I was prophesying.
That's true, sir. While we were live.
While we were live, people were calling from all areas. And I'd already made a direction. You do this, you do this, you do this, and you cross this direction, and you do this and do this, including the direction. It is within that same 10 days, since that time, from the time I said it, that they went and looked for him at his house, shot up a place, burned the place, his own house in Congo. The same place I said within 10 days. You don't call me within those 10 days, you will die. Did I arrange with the people that went to shoot? Do I own armies to go and do it? And that one listened. Am I talking to you? That one listened. It happened again when I was in Dubai, and I sent the routers a message. This man is arranging demonstrations, and this is the day he has not told you. This is, and the message came in. Is this really Prophet Uerbert Angel? I said, I'm gonna call and say, this is Uerbert Angel. You know my voice. I called. I was in church. I called. I said, this is Uerbert Angel. They said, oh, it's you, sir. And let me tell you one thing. Everything I do, because politicians get born again twice before every election. I record every conversation because I know they wake up and refuse. Because it's political genius, which is political foolishness. So you challenge what I say. I wake up tomorrow, it will be on all the blogs. Because I don't want you to be challenging it. But if you challenge it, I challenge you back. In the same way you show your foolishness, I am very capable of suspending my divinity to line up with your foolishness. So here it is, 10 days. And I had seen it. You know why God wanted Muhammad? Very simple. He literally told me it wasn't just about he is the Christian side of it. He said, I have a hand in what Ghana is doing. And I've used the Ghana to spread my mandate around the world. And it rests in a certain location and position that God has put it, and said Ghana is a leader when it comes to spiritual matters. That people would give another country the credit and say, this is the one. He said, this is why I put the prophetic deep in Ghana. He said, from ages past, I did it. Because I set it as a watcher when it comes to the prophetic. From the ages beyond, before I moved things around the world and spread the prophetic, I started with anchoring it with Ghana. So I said, Lord, what is it? He said, it's not the Christian part of it. Although it includes the Christian part of it. But it says, the man, I weighed his heart for the nation. And I looked at things that they called mistakes he has done in weaknesses. And I weighed them against his heart. And I said, there was an intention for good in him that can push the country of Ghana to a higher degree. Said the problem that is happening in Ghana is identity politics, where people say, I'm this one, I'm this political party. They are not looking at my will. Said, but I want to change Ghana. I have a heart. And I said, I'm going to pray. I went to the prayer mountain there. As I was there, I said, I'm praying. I want to pray. God, have you locked the door because the man has not called me in 10 days? Who am I? I'm just Uerbert angel. Said, you represent me, and the man failed to respect and honor that. Hear me well. Hear me well now. You were waiting for this prophecy, so listen to it carefully. And the Lord said to me, after I prayed and I prayed and I looked, you see, it was a cover given to me of all the qualities of Muhammad that would change Ghana. I said, if this is the quality of this man, and you are saying these are the right ones, can it not get a second chance for this man? And God said, I'm going to give you 2 names of people you already have access to. 2 names. When I say access to, it doesn't mean say I spoke to these people, I was speaking to these people. No, I wasn't. But I knew how to get a hold of them. Said, you speak to Archbishop, and then you speak to a prophet Owusubemba. He said, these are the authorities I put in the land of Ghana. Now watch this. He said, you put the matter before them of this 10-day timeline. When you put the matter before them, guess what? Cause them to speak to me about it and leave it with Ghana. You leave it with these 2 people and they will speak to him, and then they'll speak to me to reverse the 10-day timeline. And when I listen to them and I hear them, if I tell them it is so, then it is reversed. So while you were waiting for me to give you Ghana, God gave me 2 men that you have to reverse it, to line up with the 10 days. It was guaranteed. You call within 10 days. We will not be here now talking about this. Call within 10 days. You are president. Whether you are evil or good or bad, you are president. Call. Simple call. Hello, I have called. You think mine is wanting a president to call me? I have presidents who are spiritual sons. Just now, in a few weeks, we're going to visit one of my sons who is a president. Yes, you will see me there. And we've already been given people who are in the opposition parties in other countries that God said, I'm going to change and put this one as the leader. And these people are already our sons. Do you understand what I'm talking about? He has caused that to be able to put people in power, removed some. So you hear me here, coming here, not prophesying, no, declaring judgments on presidents to remove them. Not prophecy. No. Coming here to say, who is the president of this country? You said what? Guinea-Bissau. Okay, no problem. You say Gambia. Do we like him? We don't. I will come here and say, we are removing him. You will know who Uerbert angel is. Because you don't agree, but you will see the evidence. You don't know our capacities. This is not pride talking. It's grace bestowed upon a man, upon a mouth that can decree and remove a president, put another one. New one you have never seen, you will say, But we will do it here. We will remove them here, put new ones. We are not going to be prophesying now about these presidents. We are going to remove them, put new ones. So this is what God said about Ghana. He said, I know his will and his heart for Ghana. He said it's beyond others. Now I'm speaking like this. The 10-day window lapsed. This is a good thing. 10-day window lapsed. Do you know who called me? The ruling party. Has he called you? I said no. They said, but we have called. See, it is paramount. Let me tell you one thing. It is paramount that when the people who have been put in my vision as the people that have the power, after analyzing whatever they need to analyze, to shift and change it and put it back into the favor of the 10 days. That when they speak, you also listen. Because the battle for Ghana is a spiritual battle between evil and holiness, between righteousness and evil. And the capacity has been raised for Ghana, for them to look beyond the power to bring wealth, to bring this and to bring that and to bring this. Says the man you have in front of you is a changed man, a man who has seen the areas that he could have improved in his previous administration and can shift events. But there are people that might have said to him, I know Uerbert Angel has said this, and they never send the word. And I said, is it because of me? He said, no. There are many men of God that you begin to meet, that if this man will need what I need and want what I want, like what I like, I will shift Ghana that nobody will look at his neighbors and say it is lower than his neighbor. They will begin to see a nation changed. A nation changed. So shown the qualities of Muhammad. And he said, this is my choice. I gave a rule 10 days. It didn't come. But I've given a chance for this to establish what it is. And then when the reasons be adequate, they will speak to me. And if they speak to me and I hear them, I will reverse it, that it will look like as if he is called within the 10-day window. You know, I get impressed when I see opposition of political parties calling me and said, you say it, a man should call you in 10 days and he hasn't called you. Now please, sir, talk to us. We are willing to do what your Jesus wants. Ha! We are willing. And then you look at them, they are Muslims, and they're saying we are willing to do it. What does your Jesus want to do?